Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today is Friday the 3rd of September. Yesterday I really wanted to vlog because yesterday was the release date of my book, Welcome Home Dear Soul. But not only did Amazon fuck me up and somehow the book didn't went live yesterday, it only went live this morning at like 5 a.m. or something like that. So I tried to fix things and I couldn't actually celebrate anything because it was not working. But also I got super sick. I don't know if you can hear, I don't know if you can tell, but I don't even know where I got it from, but like I have some kind of a cold. Not what you think it is. No. But I have a massive headache and I don't feel good at all. So I will not touch the camera until I feel better. But there is something that I need to show you today because it will be gone after dinner tonight. And that is this. And now you might wonder, Tasman, why are you holding a corn into the camera? That is because this corn is a very special corn because we got it from a customer of my partner, and this is a traditional corn that is grown here on the islands. And I said before that I am super fascinated by the varieties of foods we eat. Like, for example, corn, I only know the supermarket corn, the yellow one, but I know there are like so many crazy varieties out there, especially like in the Americas. And there's such a diversity and variety, and that's so amazing. And this is one, I don't know where it's originally from. I don't know the name, unfortunately. If anyone in the comments knows more or can identify this from this little thing that I'm showing you here, please feel free to tell me. But this is a white type of corn. The guy that we have it from has been growing it for years and years and years, maybe even generations. I don't know. But yeah, it's very cool, and it is what was grown here back in the day for eating and also for the animals, to feed the animals, because nowadays people here only plant like corn that is manipulated, that the genes are manipulated, and they come with pesticides and everything. It's like a full package when you order it. They come with the pesticides already. Like, it's really fucked up. And they don't grow fruits. Those types of corn, they only grow very long and green. They don't get this. They don't get fruit at all, because they then ferment the greenery to feed all the cows on the island. So it's really cool to see what people used to plant, and some are still planting here before pesticides ruled over the fields. Hello again. It is a few hours later on the same day. I have been trying to rest and get better, and I fell asleep at some point. And apparently, while I was asleep, someone knocked on our door. I didn't see it. I just opened the door and found a lot of stuff in front of the door, like this and this. And I know who it is from. His name is Pedro. He's a photographer. I will leave him his stuff down below. He's an amazing photographer, and we are lucky enough to call him a friend. And he offered us a while ago eggs whenever we needed eggs. And yesterday I texted him like, hey, if you have some eggs, we could use some. And he not only brought a shit ton of eggs, but he also brought grapes, bananas, and corn. And I'm showing you this because I want to show you the Azorean generosity that I love so much. In Germany, I would never even think of asking anyone for anything, basically. And if I would ask for eggs, they would ask how many. And if I would say, okay, 6, like one package, I would get the 6 and that's it. And they would probably be like, okay, that's 10 euros, That would be Germany. And here you ask for eggs and you get like a bunch of delicious homegrown food for free. And that's just incredible to me. That still blows my mind every single time it happens. And it happens so many times with so many people here because that's just the culture here. And we try to do the same thing. We try to give back as well with whatever we have. And it's lovely. It's really lovely. I can just recommend it to everyone to just give sometimes and not expect anything in return either. Just give away when you have more than you need. And yeah, just wanted to address that real quick. So thank you, Pedro, and thank you to everyone who ever gave me food. Today is the 9th of September, and there's not much I can show you in the garden at the moment. A lot of the plants are dying, the weeds are taking over. Like it's, well, you can see we have been neglecting the garden a little bit, and also the weather in the last couple of weeks has been really hard on the plants. It was like heavy rain, sun, heavy rain, sun, heavy rain, sun, and not like, oh, 1 day of rain, 1 day of sun. No, it was literally like every 5 minutes there was a change, and a lot of plants don't like that. That's very typical weather for Azores, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately, it is what it is, but the plants don't really like that. And yeah, so a lot of the plants are unfortunately dying, and we have not been taking care of it. There's still a few things that we will be able to harvest soon. I will show you, don't worry. But still, yeah, there's not much to see at the moment. Also, the sunflowers are dying back, so they don't look very pretty because we are leaving them like they are. Like, we are leaving them in their state that they're in, so the birds and insects can still feed on them, because humans tend to cut and remove everything that is like not pretty anymore, even when it still has a big function for the environment. Like, for example, in like a forest, if you would have like dead wood on the ground, people would instantly remove that, even though it's so important for a forest to have dead wood, and for a lot of animals, mosses, insects, other plants, all these kind of things. For the whole ecosystem, it's so important. That's why I leave my ugly flowers, even though they're dead, still up there, because there's still seeds there. There's still, like, you know, a lot of value for other beings than myself. My own visual desires are not more important than keeping a little tiny ecosystem alive, even if it's just as small as my garden. Anyway, I thought, because I can't really show you much in the garden, I also cannot show you much on the island because there's nothing happening. There are elections going on, so it's a lot about that at the moment here, and I'm not involved in that whatsoever because I can't vote, and I'm not a huge fan of politics as a whole, so I don't have enough knowledge to talk about it, and you probably don't care because you don't live here, so there's nothing to show you really. So I thought I would take this opportunity to talk a little bit about sustainability. I talk a lot about sustainability, as you would know if you have seen a few of my videos, or if you read some of my articles. I will leave them linked down below. Or if you're participating in the climathon that is currently happening, I will leave also links down below and up here for the announcement video. If you're a reader and you like to read and you want to participate in a readathon all about climate change and nature, please check it out. It's still running all throughout the month, so you can still join in. And that is also one of the reasons why I'm thinking even more than usual about sustainability, because I'm reading so much and I'm hosting this readathon and all these kind of things. But what does sustainability actually mean? And do I live a sustainable lifestyle, or am I failing at sustainability? That is something that I've been asking myself. I have started my sustainability journey a while ago, but I started it in very tiny, small steps. And it has increased in speed ever since I started gardening in May of last year, when I really unlearned and relearned a lot of the things that I thought I knew. And when I completely relearned my relationship with food. And I'm still relearning it, like it's still a whole progress transformation. It's really big in my personal life. For you, it would be probably completely uninteresting, but for me, it's like a massive shift, a massive transformation. And my whole relationship with nature is so different from what it used to be. But am I sustainable? I think it is hard to say about yourself that you are living sustainable, especially if you're living in a Western country or in Europe, like I do. Like if you're in Europe or America, I think it's very hard to claim that you are living sustainable. I still like to use it because I use it as a term of awareness and trying to make conscious choices whenever possible. That does not mean every single choice I do is with sustainability in mind or with the intention to be sustainable, and also not that it is possible for me every single time I make a decision. A little example for that is, for example, I live on the Azores archipelago, tiny islands in the middle of nowhere that don't have any economy, which means a lot of the products that we can buy here, for example, like toiletries, that kind of stuff, need to be imported with container ships or with airplanes. That's just how it is. I cannot change that. But I chose to live here, so that's a part of that. And also the way I earn money with my freelance writing does not always align with my values. That is something I've been thinking about a lot. And it's something that's been bothering me because I cannot really find a solution for that. Because you still need money to live, but I don't like the capitalistic system. So it's like a weird thing to balance out in your mind. But the original point that I wanted to say is, when you live in Europe or North America, there is no way you live sustainably in the sense that you always profit from unsustainable behavior. And what I mean by that is that even passively, even when you yourself say, okay, like, I don't use plastic, I might not eat meat, I might do this, I might not travel anymore, all these kind of things, that might be small sustainable choices, which are incredibly important and amazing steps into the right direction. But you still profit from a system that was built on exploiting nature and of exploiting other people, because social justice and climate change are like completely interlinked. You cannot talk about one without talking about the other. And you are still profiting from all of these things. Or, since this is like a little just me talking thing, I still profit from it, because that is what privilege is. I am privileged in the sense that I live here, and I, even completely passively, always profit from the system that is exploiting nature and the environment and other people. And I think it's so important to be aware of these things when we talk about sustainability, that sustainability and social justice are very much interlinked, and that we cannot talk about one without the other. And that, of course, does not mean that every indigenous person or every Black person or every minority that lives in your continent or your area is like free from failure or lives more sustainably than you just because they're oppressed. That's just not it, you know? Or that they are like free to do whatever they want because they are oppressed in other parts of their life. It doesn't take the responsibility away from them, because they're still human, and when it comes to the environment, we are all responsible. But as a whole, in general, Western people still profit from that system that exploits a lot of other people. And I think we need to talk more about that, how that affects our way of seeing the world and the way we talk about sustainability. Because as I just said, like, I like to claim that I live a more sustainable lifestyle. I'm not like super sustainable. There are a lot of areas I can still improve in, for sure. But I'm doing the work, and I'm learning and I'm unlearning, and I'm going into the right direction. I'm trying to transform my life into a sustainable one. Still, I will always have to address my privilege and the fact that I live within a society and within a political thing, and like a country or like a continent that profits from the exploitation. And I also need to acknowledge that there will always be things where I might act unsustainably without even noticing it. For example, the fact that streaming services like Netflix, Spotify, Disney Plus, all these kind of things, that they are also having a massive bad impact on the environment is something that is not really on the forefront of our minds. And I don't think we need to be sustainable in every single area of our life. I think we are still allowed to have some things that give us joy, even though they might not be super sustainable. But I think it's important to like constantly learn about things and have them in mind, because sometimes we don't even think about it. When I was in university, I was already like kind of aware of, you know, climate and the climate crisis. And I was like, yeah, I love nature. I want to protect nature. And I was not as deep into it as I am now, not even close, but I was aware of it. But then again, every single day I went to my favorite coffee shop and I had a drink. And not only was that drink usually with milk, not the best choice when it comes to sustainability, but also I usually had it in a takeaway cup because sometimes I would go out for a walk, and also because that cup was bigger than the one you would get if you would drink at the cafe. Like the glass was way smaller than the plastic to-go cup. And I never even thought about it. In all those years that I was in university and had it every single day, I didn't even think about it. And now looking back, I'm like, what did you do? I think it is so important that we consistently educate ourselves and consistently try to do better, and don't stop once we do something sustainably, in the sense that you are not excused from the environmental damage and the climate crisis and the effects of climate crisis just because you don't use plastic as much, for example, or just because you might not travel anymore. That still doesn't excuse you from the whole process. It doesn't end there. It's not like, oh, like I'm vegan or vegetarian, so I don't need to do anything else because I'm already so sustainable because I'm vegan. Or, hey, I grow my own food, I'm so sustainable. Like, it doesn't end there. You can say that you live more sustainably and that you have the intention and the willpower to live more sustainably, but it needs to be a process where we constantly do better and not just stop at one thing. Because I have so many of my friends, and I'm not calling anyone out specifically right now, but I have so many friends that are like, yeah, I am aware of that and I want to do better. But you know, I barely eat meat anymore, and it's like, but you flew to your vacation like a week ago to the other side of the globe, you know, like, and of course that is yet another topic. Oh my god, I need to cut this off at some point, but this is another topic. This is not about blaming anyone for doing something, because I think it's very, very dangerous to point with the fingers to everybody, being like, you're not sustainable, you're not sustainable, you're not sustainable, or, oh, you claim to be sustainable, but you used a plastic straw yesterday. Oh my god, you are a traitor. And then we fight under each other, even though we want the same things. And I think that's very toxic and very, very dangerous, and that's not what we should do. But I think it's very difficult when people use one action as an excuse to do all the other things. I hope you guys understand what I mean. You know, I think whenever we make an effort to live more sustainably, there always needs to be another step behind that, and there needs to be more willingness to change your own life, even if that might mean that it becomes a little bit more uncomfortable, or that you need to, you know, don't do some things anymore that you liked, even though that might be difficult and that might not be the thing that you want to do, but it's the thing that needs to be done. And that every step that you take is a step to celebrate, and every step that you take is important and valuable, but it should never be your last step. And I think that's more or less what I wanted to say. So me talking is over. I hope the next shot you see is about some nature.